Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Brickoligist Animations show, where I, Brickologist, often tackle very interesting topics, to do with my various productions, like the New Avengers saga, Sonic the Hedgehog, the TLSMS Extended Universe, the Amateur Animators, my friends, and loads more. Yeah, I'll just start off this video saying apologies, guys, for not doing the midweek massive a week ago. But yeah, what I'm about to get into today, I think you guys will be plenty spoiled because, man, do I have some amount of topics to get through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast, everyone. Well, I mean, yeah, guys, it's been 2 weeks since I last did an episode of the podcast, and as you guys know, those 2 weeks ago, or what happened during that week was the crossover, and yeah, the crossover wasn't a big commercial success, but it got a fine amount of views, and it was a huge critical success. So, in my opinion, that's all that really matters. And yeah, to be honest, it was super fun, to interview area of 2x2 Brick Films. It was super fun to talk to Ridian and George, about their feelings on the crossover. And yeah, I mean, it's gone down pretty well. And I'm ultimately happy with the way it turned out. Despite the views, but sometimes you can't always win over the YouTube algorithm, but I guess that's the way it goes. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't necessarily a lot, going on after the crossover, at least when the weekend it premiered anyway. But yes, I suppose I should get into why I wasn't here last Wednesday. So yeah, as many of you guys know, I'm friends with the amateur animators. I am an amateur animator. So yeah, recently I met CheesyActs. And to say the least, my friends, we had an absolute blast, Cheesy and I. Despite everything, despite all our history as friends, maybe we're not the best of friends or have always been, but we got on amazingly with each other there, on the day, and it was just brilliant, lads. I mean, in this modern world, to be honest, my friends, when your average day or your average event, just seems so mundane. Meeting Cheesy was very refreshing because, it was something new that, it was such a great experience, honestly. Like, I wasn't sure if I'd ever meet him, to be honest, really, let alone meeting him, at this age that I am. But yeah, it was just absolutely brilliant. Cheesy and I, if I was to get into it, we didn't discuss really a whole lot to do with projects. We were just talking, in general about our lives. We did a little bit of talking, but to be honest, it wasn't really about any serious projects, if you get me. We were only really talking about, the Yardman show and yeah, just giving some opinions on our other projects and films and all the stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fun event, is all I can definitively say about it. But yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing last Wednesday. So that's to drag me away from the midweek massive. And in all honesty, now I was gonna do an episode, but to be honest, I was very tired and I was working on other projects at the time. So yes. And now you may be thinking to yourself, what other project, Brickologist, is so great that it distracts you away from the midweek massive? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't think any of you think that really. But no, if I was to tell you why I was so busy last week, it's also because I was making a project for the amateur animators, and that project is Lenny Sinclair and Tommy Stonks, the Great British Beatdown. So, if you don't know what Lenny Sinclair and Tommy Stonks is, it's basically my single film for the amateur animators. And yes, it kind of revolves around, two narcissists posing as superheroes. Those being the athletic, overconfident, sexist Lenny, and the gym bro, I don't know, macho, maybe you could say, bravado man, that is Tommy Stonks. And just to let you guys know, uh Lenny is a parody of Sam Wilson, and Tommy is a parody of Iron Man. So, like, yeah, it's kind of a parody, of your average New Avengers Saga episode. And, like, what happens is that they end up having to fight, like the media calls them to action because evil British comedians, they're just being British while holding hostages in the bank. So it's up to the boys, to save the day. But you see, the interesting is that let's just say Lenny and Tommy have some interesting solutions as to defeating these British boys, which I don't think that New Avengers like Sam Wilson or Tony Stark would approve of. But anyway, yeah, if I was to discuss, the process making this, like, I'll be honest, like, I was a little worried about it originally because, I wasn't sure how it would do. But as I was editing this, like, it ended up being super fun, actually. And, it kind of dawned on me, my friends could really enjoy it. And it turns out they did, which is absolutely fantastic in my books. Like, it's honestly a great project, or such a fun project, like, to make, I should say, that I'm glad I got to do it, And to be honest, lads, I admit I was debating about whether doing it or not, like, because, I mean, I prefer, be focusing on more serious films. And, like, I don't know if it was a stupid idea or not, but it's done well enough, like, so I can't really blame myself anymore now, and I'm glad I went through with it in the end. It's also a great way for me to make fun of my friends, the amateur animators. Yeah, I think I could have restarted the troubles with that one. But as KSI said, I guess this is how the story goes. But yeah, that's Lenny Sinclair anyway. That's my big amateur animator single project I was animating. And it wasn't too bad, lads, to be honest. Like, yeah. And as well, to be honest, actually, even thinking about amateur animators now, last week was actually a brilliant week for the amateur animators because, like, the real hamburger, he released he released his he released a new short film, which, to be honest, was very unexpected for him to release it when he did. So good on him, in all fairness, whether he was on hash and LSD making it. And then we have, CheesyActs. He made the third episode of the Aardman show, and I mean, it wasn't the best initially in my eyes, but it kind of grew on me, and yeah, I think it's pretty fine, and it's done well, like the rest of the series. I ironically somehow, but yes, and lastly, the week was capped off with Lenny Sinclair. So, to be honest, it was quite a good week for, the amateur animators and the films that we make. But yes, so that was kind of last week for you guys. Like, I was, yeah, even thinking about it, I was majorly busy because, I had some amount of stuff going on. Like, I had a match, I had a family gathering. My cousins from America were coming home, man, it was very busy now that I properly think about it. But yeah, I mean, in the next few days, yeah, I'm glad I took that final week off because, man, in the next few days coming, in the next day, tomorrow, I'm going back to school. I honestly cannot believe that I'm going back to school. Like, I don't know, lads. It doesn't feel like it should be happening this early that I'm going back to school. And like I'm going back, I'm going back old enough now, like lads, which is kind of the thing that does surprise me a lot, to be honest. And yeah, I'm in the senior cycle of my school now, which is just absolutely bananas to me. Like, when I started this channel, like I was in the junior cycle. And like I was only started the junior cycle when I had my channel out. And like look at me now. Like with 200 subscribers later, and we're in the senior cycle of my life, which is just insane in my opinion, to be honest. But I don't mind, lads. I mean, it is a question that has been, posed by my friends from time to time, like, whether or not that whether or not you could really have too many days off for the summer because, like, it was just yeah, maybe it just gets too long. But like, to be honest, that's no summer is ever long enough for me. Well, yeah, treating content for giving you guys content anyway is always one of my main priorities. So, I mean, yeah, that's uh, that's kind of I'm returning to school tomorrow, so like, but in all fairness as well, I'm kind of fortunate with issue that's to be honest because I know a few of my friends, they're going back earlier than me because they're in different years, and I'm kind of in one of the easier years right now, if you get me. So yeah, I'm only going back tomorrow, and then it'll be Friday. So that won't be too bad to deal with, and yeah, that'll kind of be me going back to school, now, lads. But yes, so I mean, I don't know, lads. To me, it definitely feels like the summertime of the project making calendar is done this year now. And what's up next is winter, as I call it. Like I know maybe it's a bit early for me calling September winter, but to be honest, lads, it is, in my opinion, and it just better groups things together for me, like, so yeah, the winter months we're entering now, like, it's interesting, like, lads, the nights are getting colder, the nights are getting darker, like, yeah, it's just, it can seem like a miserable time in some parts, but then it's cozy as well, lads. Like, and there's sport on like soccer, rugby. You got a load of nice family stuff, a load of nice stuff in your school, a load of nice stuff, with your channels, and as well, it's the most marketable time of year for us project creators or content creators in general, to be honest. And I think everybody well knows that. Yeah, I mean, what's next up for me, lads? It's coming out this Saturday. Is the Wolverine show, and I mean, like with everything that's happened, it's been kind of hard to promote it. But all I'll say is that I think you guys are going to enjoy it very much. And I'm very excited to do this series, lads, because like, he's Wolverine, he's one of the best Marvel characters there is, and he's getting his own solo show. Like, if you were to ask me, why did I give Wolverine a solo show? Like, it's because, I don't feel as though he gets enough time in New Avengers, honestly. Like, Sam Wilson has to shine, Iron Man has to shine, Shang-Chi obviously has to shine, and the other characters have to shine. So, like, Wolverine isn't always given a fair chance, but this time he will be. And I did debate whether or not to give him a show or whether to give him a film. But to be honest, I think a show for Wolverine works better than than a film. Like, I think Iron Man is perfectly okay with having Lima, but yeah, I think a movie works for Iron Man, but a show works for Wolverine. So yeah, I'm glad to be doing the show. And it's a bit of an interesting take, lads, because it's dark, like it's gritty, and it's not exactly your typical new Avengers story, I'd say. Like it's very like Lima. I should say, that it's not like overly violent. It's not overly explicit. But like it's a dark story, lads. And like it explores interesting themes, and moral dilemmas, like yeah, that's all I can say about it, really. Like, I don't want to spoil too much. Like if you've been following New Avengers, I think, like all you have to do is just, know what happened at the end of New Avengers 3. Like kind of know why Wolverine wasn't in the crossover either as well. And like, that perfectly sets you up anyway for the Wolverine show. Like, yeah, and now I suppose I'll confirm, I'll do a bit of cast confirming. So, lads, of course, and I think you guys are all going to be very excited to hear this news. My dad is returning as Wolverine himself in the flesh. And it's honestly brilliant because my dad, I know you guys absolutely love my dad's voice acting, and he's just an absolute legend and staple in Brickoligist Animations. So it's great to have him back playing Wolverine in such a big role. Then, you've myself, obviously, and I can confirm that I will be playing the main villain in the show, that being Victor Creed. And I will also be playing Tony Stark. Yes, I snuck Iron Man in because I needed help, I needed motivation to help myself rise. And yeah, there's nothing better than including Iron Man or Shang-Chi in a project. But I didn't want to include Shang-Chi, so I said Iron Man. And yeah, I'm glad of including Iron Man in the project. Then then other voice actors. Well, this is an interesting one because I have a few voice actors, but like I can't exactly. It's kind of funny, lads, because I can't exactly mention who they're playing, or I can't mention who they are, even themselves as the voice actors. But like if I'm to point you in a few directions, anyway, like there will be a few new voice actors. There'll be a few voice actors brought back, and yeah, I think the biggest thing I can really tell you guys is that the real hamburger and chicken, who are probably my two most significant voice actors in the entire history of my channel, are not going to be in the series. And it's interesting, honestly, lads, because like I was talking to Hamburger about it the other day, or really, and that's like he's been in every Brickologist Animations project since nearly, I think it was July last year, which is just absolutely bananas. And like even in the smaller side projects, lads, like I think the only one he really missed was the rugby one. But like I'm not surprised he missed that one. Like I kind of made the rugby one on a whim. But like he's literally been in everything because he was in Lima, he was in New Avengers 4, he was in Daredevil, he was played Sonic in TLSMS, he played Sonic in the crossover, he was Harry Hill in the crossover. Like he's played some amount of characters, lads, honestly, since since June of last year even. And like yeah, he was actually saying to me, even that he needs a rest for his vocals. And to be honest, it is fair enough. Whereas with Chicken, Chicken is kind of better managed. Like she has been in, most of my big films, but like she has been in a lot of my smaller side projects. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good as well though to get a break from Chicken, like because she is a typical enough female voice actor, like, and she does like she plays Amy and she plays Kate Bishop, like, so yeah, I mean just freshen things up a tiny little bit. But I mean, the only other voice actor who I can really confirm is coming back without detailing too much is It's Me Here, or not It's Me Here, Area, who I interviewed a few weeks ago. And yes, I think she is coming back now to play a character in the Wolverine show. And that's not Wasp. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And yeah, that's all I can really say, on the Wolverine show, to be honest. Other than it was a blast to animate, and yeah, I hope you guys like it. But yes, I suppose that's all I've really had to say, this week on the midweek massive. Like it's been, it's been a good few weeks, and it's been an absolutely great summer, as I set, back into returning to school, and I set myself up for the coming winter months. And let's hopefully there's a lot more from me, the Wolverine show, the amateur animators, and loads more of my friends to keep you guys all occupied. So yes, I suppose I could say thank you for all of you who tune in, week out to the Brickoligist Animations podcast show, the midweek massive episodes and interviews, and all of those along the way. So I like to thank you guys for watching the video, and hopefully I will see you guys next time on the Brickoligist Animations show. Hold on a second there. I'll see you guys next time on the Brickoligist Animations show. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.